Hello. Today I will be covering all about the back hatch switch on your 2010 Subaru Outback. This will cover possible issues for it and how to diagnose it. So, main issue that most people have, and the issue that I had, would be that it would close, but it would not open. You could press unlock on the keychain. You would hear it chirp. You would never hear it click. It would never unlock. You could press the button. It wouldn't do anything. So if that happens, you basically have four things that it could be. First one, easiest to check, is blown fuse. Now, depending on your model, it'll either be under the driver's side, and it'll have a little diagram on the cover that tells you which one it is, or it'll be under the hood. And either way, you could, if you have a meter, you can test that out with ohms, test it for continuity, or you can just look through it and see if it looks smoked, replace it then. The second thing it would be, which would probably also result in a blown fuse, but if you replace a fuse and it instantly blows again, this is probably your issue, will be a shorted wire. And so if it was a shorted wire, it would most likely be on these guys. That's a very common problem for these cars. I believe it's in this one. And so just check in here and repair it accordingly if it's a crushed wire in there. The other two options are the ones that are a bit more technical. And so that would be either the solenoid for your door latch, which is this guy right here, or it could be the button itself that you press right above your tag. And so the way to test it would be, to test out your door switch would be, okay, so first you have to take off this cover, which just pulls off. It's got all these little pins in that you can put back in. These get broken really easy, but they sell them at most car stores, and you can just pop that off. But once you get that popped off, you'll find this little guy. So this is your hot and your common for the solenoid. And it goes in series through this switch, which is the green wire. So that switch is the button you press. And so if you just unplug this and jump those two wires in there and you hear this guy click, then this guy's good and your switch is bad. And that was what the issue was for me. However, if that doesn't happen with this, you can ohm this out and see if you're ohm it out to ground, see if you're grounded out. And if that was the case, you'd have to replace this guy. They're about $50 online. I will link them. I'll also link the OEM for the switch. I didn't use the OEM. I'll show you what I did in a minute, but I'll link both of those parts in the description. So what you need is you need a star bit, I believe 8mm. Like everything on Subarus, it's weird and non-American, so you'd have to get weird star bits and everything. But you just unscrew these two guys and then unplug. There's, I don't know if it'll show up, but there's 4 wires that plug in right there. You can unplug those after you unscrew this. And then you'll just see it's a little white piece of plastic with those wiring harness goes into it. And you're gonna have 4 wires. 2 are gonna be your hot and your common for unlocking the solenoid. And 2 are gonna be a switch, a normally open switch that shows the car computer when the door is open or not. So that switch, that yellow wire, is always going to be hot. So just be careful you don't short that out. And so those are the 4 main issues you'd run into on this. I'll show you the fix I did for my switch. I kind of jerry-rigged it, but you can just get, a generic push switch from your local hardware store, and I just Velcroed it. I took the old one off, cut the wires, trimmed them back, and put them on this guy. And so he works just fine. Definitely not a pretty fix, but nobody's really gonna be looking on the underside of your car either way. And so I could show you how it will work in a second. So right now I would just simulate the hatch closing, because that's how it would lock into place. And you can't see, but it doesn't say the door is open anymore. And so then you would just press this guy and it should pop open. There you go. And so hopefully I've given you guys a pretty good overview on how these things work. If you have any comments, let me know. Thank you.